everyone, and welcome to the Two Broke Gaijin podcast, the podcast about the journey to financial freedom. My name is Eddie. I am one of the two broke guys that are going to be talking to you on this podcast here in the lovely and busy city of Tokyo, Japan. And joining me on this very interesting, as always, conversations that we have is my buddy old Paolo friend, Mr. Aaron. How are you doing, good sir?
You know, Eddie, you introduce me like that every week, and I still haven't got used to it. But don't stop. I love it.
Thank you very much, sir. And guess what?
What?
We have music now.
Oh, yeah, you guys must have heard that at the beginning. Brought to us by, I think I've written down their name here. Hang on. That was sent in to us by, give me a sec, guys. Oh, wait, no, it was Eddie.
Oh my God, it was me.
Eddie made that awesome intro track for us. And we hope it to be a staple of the podcast going forward. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm open to constructive criticism.
Oh, you know how I feel about perfectionism, Eddie.
Oh yeah,
you know how I feel about that.
All right.
Very, very nice.
So, how's your week been, good sir?
Oh, it's been good. We're recording this episode a little bit early today, so it's not quite Thursday, so we've got a little bit more energy.
Yeah,
than usual.
Yeah.
So I was recording this one a day early. But yeah, my week's been pretty good. Been playing around with cryptocurrencies again, which has been fun, and looking to start up some new business ventures as well, which is kind of cool. But more on that probably in a future episode.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I think we need to talk about that sometime later.
Yeah. What about you, sir?
Doing pretty good, actually. I mean, it's like you said, we're recording this a little bit earlier in the week, so I have a bit more energy. This whole week has just been like pretty good, actually, for me. Not a whole lot has been happening, but for one, that what you just heard, all of you, everything, I've been working on that most of the time, and also my virtual wallet just got verified. So yeah, so now I can start playing around with cryptocurrencies as well.
I was jumping into the cryptos.
Yep,
I was definitely jumping into the cryptos.
Yeah. So I get on that as soon as I can. Not just stocks or anything like that, but trying to diversify myself.
Right. Right. You got to know a little about a lot, as we always say.
Yes, that much is true.
Yep.
So, shall we jump right into whatever's going on?
Get into it.
Yeah.
So we said last week we were talking about flexibility versus sort of just sticking with one thing.
That is what we talked about, yes.
And we kind of wanted to extend the conversation into not just you sticking to one thing, but how you approach that one thing. Well, not that one thing, actually. How you approach life in general. How do you class yourself? Basically, we want to talk the Stoicism versus Epicurean conversation, which I'm sure is a hot topic for most.
That sounds pretty deep, actually.
Yeah. So for those who are sort of unaware what is Stoic and Epicurean, I believe it's from I think the Greeks came up with that.
Yes.
I think it's a Greek.
The Greeks. Long time ago. Yep, the Greeks. It was them.
Yes. So,
I mean, the Greeks pretty much came up with everything logical and philosophical,
pretty much,
right?
Pretty much. We owe them logic.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So the idea of Stoicism is the kind of delayed gratification, sacrificing now for then, saving, frugal, kind of pays off in the long run kind of attitude. Whereas Epicurean is the idea of living here and now, or YOLO.
Oh God! Did you really just YOLO?
It's pretty much the best way to describe.
Oh God!
Epicurean is that eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die kind of attitude.
Since we started doing this podcast, it is. I mean, granted, this. But this is our 10th episode, by the way. Yay!
It is episode 10, double digits. Welcome.
I figured even like way down the road when we get to hopefully episode 100 or whatever, that we would have a whole bunch of different conversations, a whole bunch of different things we talk about. And I have to admit, YOLO was one of the words I never thought would pop up into our podcast.
Well, I thought I'd get it out of the way early.
You apparently did. So, congratulations. And yeah, like I don't know. That was you caught me off guard with that one. By the way, yeah, it was YOLO.
Yeah, YOLO. We live once.
Yeah.
So let's sort of go into it. Eddie, I'd like to ask you a question. Which side do you more identify more with at the moment? Stoic or Epicurean?
See, that's a bit of a tricky question. The reason why I say that is because I kind of identify with both. Like, I'm just a weird person. I look at both sides of things, and aspects of it kind of make sense, and I kind of just take what I like most about both sides, or just really a lot of not just Stoicism or Epicureanism or anything like that, but like a lot of things, and I kind of just follow that. However, I will say I identify more with Epicureanism, or God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm stumbling.
So she's the more like laissez-faire.
I am very much more.
Sarah.
Yeah, I'm very much more in the now than anything else. The more que sera, sera.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It kind of varies from person to person as to there's somewhere along that spectrum. I don't think anyone's either one or the other.
Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty sure that there are some people who take it to the extreme.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here and there, of course.
Those people are probably dead though.
Probably.
Seriously, if you go full on Epicurean, you're probably like jumped off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know. There's a world of people out there, so odds are.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I like to think of myself of more towards the Stoic side, but I haven't always been like that, and I hope to not be like that forever.
Really? Well, why not?
Yeah. So it kind of comes back to have you heard of author Will Durant?
I have, actually, yes.
Yeah, so I read his book, Our Oriental Heritage.
Ooh, that's one I have not read.
Yeah, it's a good one. And so basically it's his, I think it's a part of his History of Civilization series.
Yes.
It's like a 11 or 12, I forget how many books are in that series, but it's an epic read. It's, but it basically chronicles like the birth of civilization up until, I think the mid, sort of like late 1800s-ish.
Yeah.
But one of the quotes from that book, which really stood out to me, is that it's make sure I get this right. It's a nation is born Stoic and dies Epicurean.
That's really interesting.
And I like to think of that as like a way how life should be.
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
I'd like to think that when you start out, especially when you're starting out on the, road to financial freedom, as we talk about here so much.
Yeah.
When we start out, we want to sort of be kind of frugal and put money towards investments and savings and working on your business and sacrificing time to, instead of going out with your friends drinking, to stay at home and get that article done or get that content done or get that plan finished,
Yeah.
So there's that kind of like stoicism instead of going out and enjoying yourself, instead of spending your bonus on going on holiday, you spend that money putting into investments. You want to, buy a book or a course or, something. So that's the very Stoic kind of mindset. You sort of delay your gratification now for a bigger payoff later. And then once those things start to take fruit and once they start to sort of manifest themselves, then you can become more Epicurean when you've got the resources to actually do so and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah, so that's the kind of road I would like to see myself taking is that now I'm very much in the stoic area. You know, I'm drinking a glass of water instead of any fruit juice. You know, I'm so very. I want to put that sort of extra few yen towards some investments. But that's kind of how I live from day to day. I mean, you have the Epicurean days, I'm sure. Sometimes you're just like, I want to take a break. I want to just go to the park. I want to, do whatever. I want to go on holiday. I'm sure those happen. But for the most part, for most of the time,
right,
I'm in that very stoic mindset and that very stoic attitude and that very stoic approach to things.
That's very interesting, actually, because I myself, I'm the complete opposite.
Interesting.
Because like the area that I grew up and with a lot of people that I grew up with, it was always, like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy kind of a thing. So
right.
A vast majority of my time growing up and a lot of the people that I was with, it was always play first, work later. And so I guess I kind of grew up with that very Epicurean kind of surrounding and mindset. And that kind of reflects even to me still to today, because I really do believe that, like, I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, I still do believe in that whole all work and no play kind of a saying, because I mean, it's kind of like what you just said. Like, if you go just 100% all the time with whatever it is that you're doing, it could be investing, your business, whatever personal projects that you have, it kind of takes away from all the other pleasures that you could have. And then later in life, when you're older and when you, you have, you could have all of the riches in the world when you're older, but you don't really enjoy it the same way as you would if you were younger. And yeah, so with that kind of mindset, I'm very much the opposite. I mean, I like to believe that I will never truly move completely out of that Epicurean thinking, mainly because I enjoy it too much.
Right.
So, but like very much now I have implemented. I think I was thinking that way too much, which stopped me from progress. So, or just really obtaining any kind of assets when I should be. I was basically I wasn't doing as much as I could. And to an extent, I kind of regret that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why now, while still more Epicurean, I have implemented some Stoic thinking within the present day me.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, like I said, it's like a mix of the two, right? You've got that. Although you lean more towards Epicurean, you still have some Stoicism there, right?
Yeah. Because like I'm even right now, I'm drinking fruit juice.
Right. Whoa, let's not go too crazy. Fruit...
Yeah, right? Oh, God.
Whoa. So, yeah, no, that's very interesting that you say that, because definitely now, when I say Stoic, I don't necessarily, I was kind of exaggerating with the water and fruit juice example, but
Well,
I don't mean like
was
just
kind of carrying with that.
Yeah, of course. We don't mean like go out, just drink bread and water for the next 50 years, where you put every single penny towards something. But it's more taking that macro view. Also, well, more like, should I go out? Okay, so I've been out to dinner 3 times this week. Do I really need to go out a 4th? Or can I take that money I would have spent there and spend it on something that will maybe increase my either knowledge or, the money I'm making, or spend some time with someone you want to build a relationship with, spend that time working on something versus just, going out and, having fun is, like I say, it's absolutely it's necessary, I think.
Yeah.
But it's also that you kind of need, well, not need, but you kind of, at least from the Stoic side, you want that kind of resolve and that kind of control, rather than spending every spare, dollar you get on, buying things. You could invest in yourself, or invest in the stock market, or invest time in a business, or invest in a relationship with a person. I think there's something definitely to be said for that. And maybe those people who invest that time sooner may enjoy a better Epicurean lifestyle later on down the road. Not necessarily 50 years or 60 years, but maybe in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
So I kind of dealing with that whole like maybe trade-offs and balances, really.
Yeah. So you sort of trade off the now for then. But then there are those who kind of disagree with that. Maybe you should live how you'd like to live, and then kind of build your life around that as well.
Well, yeah, because I can definitely. I mean, because to an extent, I kind of agree with that. Although I don't fully take that side, because then I'd be kind of a hypocrite with my investing and stuff like that. So, as I said, like, I'm a weird person. I don't really know 100% where I stand with that. But I do understand that argument, though, because, I mean, I kind of just said it earlier, like, even though you're like trading off the now for then, I mean, you can't really enjoy it the same way you would now, or the you now, or I don't know. Like, I feel you would probably, to an extent. Well, I mean, of course, there's always exceptions, and it depends on the person. But I'm just saying, in general, you probably have a bit more restrictions or anything as to what you really could do later.
Right.
Yeah. So, because, like, I don't know. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say, like, one of your dreams is to travel the world and see the Seven Wonders, or whatever. You just want to go places. I mean, sure, if everything goes well, you can still go places. But when you're like, I mean, assuming if you're like 55 or 60 or something, and you're starting to get up there, pretty up there in terms of age, like, I don't think you're going to be climbing Mount Everest or Machu Picchu, or doing all-night fiestas or whatever, anything like that,
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, and I think it's down to the people as to what kind of lifestyle they want to live. But like, if you wanted to do something when you're able to, then yeah, I would say definitely do it, because we do only have like a finite amount of time. Like we talked in the time episode about time as a finite resource, but again, I think you can still balance and still do those things without going completely, not completely, but without going too far over to the point where other things that you want to build up suffer.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like, I mean, for example, for me right now, I have a, I mean, it's nothing new. For some people, it's kind of like duh, but for me, every month, I have a small percentage of my paycheck, and then I put those towards, stocks, or more recently, from now on, cryptocurrencies. I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, I'll just take a small percentage of my paycheck and put it towards that, which to an extent is essentially saving for my future, and taking whatever else I can without obviously going too crazy, and then having some fun, going on a trip or whatever, And,
Right.
yeah, I feel like that's the best way to balance, unless there's some better way that I'm not aware of. Like,
Right. No. And again, I think it's all relative to the person. But would you not say that, especially the main topic of our podcast, which is obviously financial freedom,
right?
That Epicurean lifestyle would come sooner rather than later?
What do you mean?
So by the sheer fact that we're trying to, I mean, we're not looking to achieve financial freedom in the next 60 years or 50 years or 30 years. We're looking in the next, 3 to 5 years, maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
On those kind of timescales, would not a Stoic lifestyle be a bit more, or at least in your opinion, would it be a bit more feasible or a bit more realistic if you put it in those terms? So if you said, okay, I'm gonna cut back. It's Gary Vee's. Here's one of his favorite quotes, which is, "Eat expletive for 2 years and then eat caviar for the rest of your life."
Yeah. Well,
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is that kind of nose to the grindstone, sacrificing as much as possible around you to get that thing you really want, and then that's it. You're set. You can do whatever you like after that.
well, I don't know about sacrificing everything around you.
No, not everything. I'm saying as much as you can. Not buying, that expensive wine that you wanted to, instead of getting, a cheaper bottle of wine. I mean, it's still wine, right? So
Right.
Unless it's wineys out there, I mean. So.
Yeah.
To me, wine is wine, but instead of going out and buying a 6-pack of beer that day, maybe invest it in a book, buy a book that you've been meaning to read or something. Just small things.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely agree. Because, well, I mean, logically, it when we're looking at the short term, a Stoic lifestyle definitely makes more sense. Just to an extent, unrealistic. And the reason why I say unrealistic is because, kind of like we were mentioning earlier, is or like what I said earlier, you can't go 100% all the time. I mean, people burn out. So
of course not.
Like, to an extent, you got to have your moments. But I do agree, if we're looking at, I don't know, any kind, well, I wouldn't say any kind, but a vast majority of whatever assets that you can obtain or whatever that you can do within the short term for financial freedom, for a successful venture, startup, whatever it is, a more stoic mindset is a bit more realistic, I feel.
Yeah, right. For example, if I told you that, okay, Eddie, I've got this deal for you, okay?
Uh-huh.
You have to, you're allowed 1 week off a year, but you have to work every day on this project, every day for the next 2 years. But after that, you never have to work again. Would you take it?
Yeah, I would probably, yeah.
Yeah, I know I would. Yeah.
Well,
obviously it's a bit more complicated than that, but that's the kind of eating bleep and then eating caviar. It's that putting in the hard work up front, so it kind of pays off for you later.
right. Assuming that it's actually, going the way you plan it is, right?
Right. That's another conversation about, planning. Are you doing the right thing? What should you be doing now? And, are you efficient at doing what you're doing now? But in sort of general terms, in terms of the Stoic mindset, I think that's kind of how I would envision it happening. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I mean, when you put it simply put that way, then yeah.
It's kind of a ridiculous analogy, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, why don't you just work every day for 2 years and then you can only work again? That's not quite how it works, but that kind of idea anyway.
Right. I mean, my God, if it was that simple, I mean, I don't understand.
Right.
Like,
right, pretty much done that already. So it's like, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that would be just absolutely wonderful. The whole thing is just like it's tough. I mean, even
it takes resolve.
Yeah, even with everything. I mean, my God. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm the most hardworking person in the world. I could definitely work a bit harder, and I am trying to work a bit harder. Well, I'm not trying, but I actually am. I actually am working harder. The whole thing is like, you can't. It's not like a switch, You can't just be like, okay, one day I'm doing this, and then the next day, all right, turn all of that off. Now I'm stoic, or I'm
Right.
focused,
Yeah.
or whatever. It takes a little bit of time, and that's me. I'm in a transition phase, and I'm, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're kind of the same.
Oh yeah.
Like,
No. Absolutely, absolutely. So for me, what helped me sort of get to this? So, cause I was sort of, live for the weekend kind of attitude
mm,
before. I'm still a little bit like that. Work takes its toll. You want to take a break, but
yeah,
I'm more live for the weekend so I can work on my personal projects. That's what I'm more like.
yeah,
It's like get to Friday, so I have 2 solid days to just work on what I want to work on.
yeah.
Um, but at least for me, when I sort of took stock of where I was and where I wanted to be, definitely adopting a more stoic mindset. Spending extra on this versus this. Saving, I don't know, $10 I would have spent on going out for dinner, and then spend that on a book that I really need or really wanted instead. I mean, they're the kind of calculations I started making, and I also asked myself like two big questions,
And those were?
which is one is like, where have I been? So from where I am now and to where I want to be, where have I been like really weak in that? Where have I like I should be doing this but haven't?
Mm.
And sort of how can I get to that point? How can I get from where I sort of the activities I'm doing day to day now to where I want to be, and how that then translates into 2 years on when hopefully I'm financially free.
Mm.
So it's it's like identifying your weak points and then putting in a plan to improve. So like, for example, just before the episode, I was looking through some of the notes I've taken on a course that I took, and it says that one of my two biggest weaknesses were risk taking and action taking.
Interesting.
Now, so two things I definitely think I've improved on in, I think, about a year since I've been on this. I've taken the course,
Huh.
but it's still not quite where I want it to be.
What do you mean? Like you haven't improved?
No, I have improved. I've definitely improved, but it's still not quite where I need to be.
Okay.
So I've definitely like action taking starting this podcast. That's kind of speaks for itself. You have to take action to do that.
Well, I mean,
Risk taking.
like, when it came to starting this podcast, it was pretty, oh, hey, let's do it, and then shoot. Like,
But it required action though. It required me going onto Amazon, buying a mic, doing the research into the software, setting it up, doing the dry runs. All that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
this is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then another thing for me was risk taking. It was that I just like, especially with like investments, I would just sit on any extra sort of assets I got and just let it sit there. And I was like, I need to have it be more active. And while I've definitely made steps, like I was talking about cryptocurrency, stocks, all that sort of stuff, and buying books and things like that, even though I've taken steps towards that, I'm still not quite where I need to be to get onto that trajectory to get me out of the sort of 9 to 5 grind, the rat race. I need to sort of double down on these.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everybody kind of hates risk. So,
Right.
I mean, I hate risk. Like, there's a
Right,
lot
but
of,
it's something you got to deal with.
yeah, there's a lot of people that hate risk. So, like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say the fact that those two things are or like those two things you were having trouble with, I wouldn't say that would make you abnormal or anything like that.
No, but I definitely need to readdress those if I want to get to where I want to go.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, well, like one of the things that I also, well, I mean, for me, you were thinking about that kind of stuff like way before we even started this podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah, I never was. That's the thing.
Okay.
Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I was a completely different person. Like, I was essentially like, I didn't think about that. I was just, like I said, I was very much live in the now, live in the moment. Let's have fun, or let's just enjoy life as it is. And I never thought about the future. I never thought about any of that. at all, like whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, so me doing all of this is completely different from how I was just 3 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, progress.
Well, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So you take a look back and see where you were and where you are now. So it's always fun. Like guys out there, try to journal. Try to journal. See if you can. So you can sort of look back and see where you were and seeing if you're taking what we're saying, or you read up something in a book, or you're taking a course, and see how far along that gets you.
Yeah, I mean, although I have to admit, one of the problems that I do have in terms of like reading a book is actually remembering a lot of the material.
Right.
Yeah, I know that might be a whole different thing. I don't know. I think
Yeah, I think that's more
that's
like I think that's something we can definitely go into, because we talk about books a lot. So I'd like to do like a book episode, like not on a particular book, because we've done that already. We did Rich Dad Poor Dad, but about books themselves and lessons we can learn from books.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
That's definitely another another episode there.
yeah, we can do that then. Cause
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because I do agree with like all of the books, and that's another thing that actually changed. I used to never really read books, and now I love to read books.
Right, yeah, you're always reading. You're reading like a book. What's your target? Is it a book a month?
A book a month.
Yeah.
Well, at least no, not one book a month, but at least one business book a month.
Business book a month. Yeah.
That's not including, fiction books or anything like that. Cause,
okay. Yeah.
Because
I mean, you need to switch your brain off at some point.
I don't know how many of you people out there know this, or even you, Aaron, but there are actually good fiction books out there. Did you know that?
No. I thought everything was celebrity writers and biographies.
Right?
There's actually good fiction books?
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
What?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I mean, yeah, books. They're great. Love them. Yeah. And especially going into like the whole. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you gonna?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, and especially like going into becoming a little bit more stoic and getting down to the grind and doing whatever it is I need to do. Definitely been picking up a bit more on the books, and to be and I personally believe that I have learned. Actually, you know what? Maybe I don't know. I might get in trouble for saying that, but whatever. Within the past few years, I really believe I have learned more from the books that I have read than the courses that I've taken in university.
Oh, and that's definitely another topic. The school system and how messed up it is.
Yeah, my God.
I mean, everyone's doing it, but we're going to throw in our 2 cents too.
Yeah, might as well.
Like I've got. Oh my goodness, that might be like a 3-parter.
Yeah, just dropped a bomb right there.
Oh my goodness, that. I don't even want to. I don't even want to start.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that about wraps up our episode. Have you got anything else to say on the Stoicism versus Epicurean?
My final takeaway on that, couple things. One, Stoicism, like, if you want to actually, like, get all your, you want to get yourself in go, and you want to get on your way to the path of financial freedom, or you want to get those assets, or you want to be successful in your startup, or whatever it is, you definitely do need to implement a sense of stoicism to a degree, because, like I said, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So you got to have fun sometimes. So final takeaway is that, and drink your fruit juice, like me.
Drink your fruit juice.
Healthy and good for you.
Yeah, Eddie, I think that's perfect, and you closed it out.
Oh, okay.
As I would say, so yeah, it's really much you took the words right out of my mouth. It's if you find yourself sort of stuck or find that you're not making the progress you could be making, take a look and see if you are a bit too too Epicurean for where you are now, and see if you can dial it back and become a bit more Stoic.
Yeah,
a bit more,
I would
heads
definitely
heads down.
yeah, I would definitely say that if you want something, then you might want to dial, like if you actually want to go somewhere, do something or whatever, you might want to maybe dial a bit down on the Epicurean. But if you're kind of stressing yourself out and going a bit too hard, then you might want to dial back on the.
Oh, dial that back too. Like we said, you don't want to send yourself crazy. No,
Yeah.
that's what goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah.
anyway, guys.
Yeah. Go. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, sorry.
Yeah, that's me.
Sorry, we've been talking over each other a little bit this episode, but that's okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 10 of the Two Broke Gaijin podcast. We are on Facebook. If you want to, every time a new episode comes out, we post on Facebook. So if you want to stay in touch and see what we're doing, Facebook is definitely the number one way. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, which we're posting more to, which is always fun. And that's all at Two Broke Gaijin. Everything's at Two Broke Gaijin. Branding, everybody. Branding. So everything's at Two Broke Gaijin. Please leave us a review on iTunes if you can. It really, really helps out the show. It gets us into the ears of more people, and we can grow this community that we've got going here. You can always email us your thoughts on any topic you would like us to discuss, or anything we have discussed in the past, at twobrokegaijin.com. That's at twobrokegaijin.com. Nope, that's wrong. twobrokegaijin@gmail.com. We do have twobrokegaijin.com, but it just redirects to our podcast page. twobrokegaijin@gmail.com is our email address. twobrokegaijin.com is our website, even though it redirects to another page. But anyway, enough said. Thank you, everybody, for listening. It's been a good one.
Yeah, in our defense, we're not recording when we usually do.
No, we're kind of thrown off at a different time. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah. Thrown off at a different time. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for listening this week. And until next week, see you then.